Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to start the regular press conference by Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister Motegi. The floor is yours, Minister Motegi. Thank you. At the outset, I would like to provide reports on two matters, if I may. First is with regard to the raising of the warning infectious disease level. The number of cases and deaths from the novel coronavirus continues to rapidly increase around the world, and the infection is expanding in different regions as we speak. As of April 24th, 2.65 million cases of infections have been confirmed in 185 countries. The number of deaths around the world is now roughly 180,000. Under such circumstances, comprehensively reviewing various circumstances, including the number of infected cases per 10,000, we are going to raise the warning on infectious disease level to level 3 for 14 different countries, which is recommendation to suspend travel. In Europe, Ukraine, Belarus, and Russia, which means that all countries of Europe is now subject to level 3. In Middle East, UAE, Oman, Qatar, Kuwait, and Saudi Arabia. These 5 countries. And also with regard to Central and South America, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Christopher Nevis, Dominican Republic, Barbados, Peru, and in Africa, Djibouti. These 14 countries, as a result, warning infection. It means that 87 countries and regions are now subject to level 3. Warning infectious disease level globally, excluding the 87 countries and regions that were just mentioned, will be maintained at level 2. So, with the raising of the warning infectious disease level, going forward, upon coordination with the Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare, and other relevant agencies, and after discussion at the National Security Council and Novel Coronavirus Disease Control Task Force, addition of regions subject to refusal of entry and border measures inclusive of strengthened quarantine measures will then be taken.
Another matter has to do with the repatriation of Japanese nationals from areas and regions where they have difficulty leaving. This morning, by 8 a.m., the people who have been repatriated to Japan is 7,700 people. Those people who continue to wish to be repatriated in about 50 countries, 1,050 people wish to be repatriated, of which final arrangements are being made for about 470 people to be repatriated within this month. So we are seeing a build-up of good results. Especially today, from South Africa, aboard Ethiopian Airlines private sector chartered flight, 120 people are expected to be repatriated. And late this evening, the plan is 2359 from Fiji aboard Fiji Airlines private sector chartered flight. Slightly less than 150 people will be leaving the country. Going forward, based on the situation of the spread of the novel coronavirus, we will constantly review the warnings on infectious diseases as well as other warnings, implement border control measures in coordination with other relevant ministries and agencies, provision of necessary information for security of Japanese nationals on MOFA website as well as consular mails, and our diplomatic missions will provide all kinds of support for Japanese nationals living abroad or traveling abroad. We will do all we can to provide support and ensure safety of our citizens.
Thank you. We'll now take your questions. If you're designated, please go on to the microphone in front of you and state your name and affiliation. So we will now take your questions. Kimura-san, please. Kimura from NHK. I'd like to go back to your initial comment. I'd like to ask 2 questions about your initial opening statement. With regard to countries that were raised to level 3, I think they're now subject to entry ban. So the countries and regions that we raised to level 3 will also be subject to the same restriction going forward. As I mentioned at the opening, from this point onwards, with the Minister of Justice and with the Minister of Health, Labour and Welfare, and also with the Minister of Land, Infrastructure and Transport, we will make coordination with the relevant agencies. And ultimately, at the end of the day, there will be discussion at the National Security Council as well as discussion at the Novel Coronavirus Disaster Control Level Task Force. Thank you. I would like to confirm for fact. Have you raised the level? We have just raised the level. Thank you very much.
Next question, please. Nikaido-san, please. Nikaido from Asahi Shimbun. Futenma Air Station, PFOS firefighting agent discharge issue. U.S. forces Japan. The U.S. side, with Japanese in attendance, removal of soil near hangar is being conducted. It's still going on, but the prefecture has been asking for sampling investigation, and that's not likely to be granted. So the government, sampling investigation of the soil, is the government intending to demand that? Well, on this matter, with cooperation between Japan and the United States, based on U.S.-Japan environmental agreement to supplement SOFA, 3 times access has been granted. This is quite meaningful. This didn't happen before, so this is quite meaningful. This happened on the 10th, this discharge of the agent, this incident. This is a grave incident which could cause anxiety to the residents there. So we have lodged a stern protest to the U.S. side, and they have taken this quite seriously. They are looking at the cause of the incident as well as prevention of recurrence of the incident. So as I said at the outset, on the 16th and the 21st, and today to Futenma Air Station, we have gained access to the base. Now, the previous time, on the 21st, when we had access, foam agent discharge route, near the route, whether there is contamination or not, we have conducted sampling of water. And today, foam agent could have spread near the hangar, so further prevention of discharge measures. Well, this could lead to prevention of recurrence of the incident. As a further measure to prevent further discharge, the U.S. would be conducting replacement of soil, so our people are on hand to watch the work. So as for sampling of the soil, we will first conduct the analysis of the investigation that we have conducted as a result of our access. A related question, sampling test of the soil, it is the prefecture that is demanding that, but is the government, including the soil near the hangar, is the government also demanding sampling investigation? Analysis of samples of water included. We have conducted analysis of the results that we have gained to determine whether there is a need to conduct sampling of the soil.
Next question, please. Yes, please. Yomiuri Shimbun, Ienaka is my name. I wanted to ask 2 questions on a totally different matter, two totally separate matters. Can I ask one by one? Yes. I would like to ask about DPRK in North Korea. Chairman Kim Jong-un, health state, and President Trump, with regard to his physical state, said any report saying that Mr. Kim Jong-un being in a serious state was erroneous. There are a lot of reports. What is the position of the Japanese government? How much does the Japanese government know? And also, the current situation pertaining to North Korea, what impact will this have on future negotiations for denuclearization? So with regard to the situation pertaining to North Korea, we have received various questions with regard to the situation pertaining to novel coronavirus spread as well. So we're observing the situation with great interest. And so with regard to Chairman Kim Jong-un's situation, we have come across various information and reports so far. As far as the government is concerned, we continue to monitor the situation with great interest. and we'll make efforts to further gather and analyze the information. We'll expand efforts to gather and analyze the information. In terms of situation pertaining to North Korea, it's very difficult to get definitive information. But for example, the fact that his attendance at the event to celebrate the birthday of Kim Il-sung was not confirmed, for example. And also, this type of a report came to light on around April 15th. And over more than 1 week period, his whereabouts were not clear. But that situation was observed in the past. That is our view. Now, I know that, CNN has made a report. But anything beyond the report provided by CNN, as far as we do not believe that any information beyond what was surveyed by the CNN report has not been issued. So with regard to the accuracy of the information, we would like to continue to scrutinize. That is our view. Now, having said that, with regard to our response to North Korea, there's no change in our position that based on Japan DPRK Pyongyang Declaration, outstanding issues of tactical nuclear missile will be reviewed will be resolved in a comprehensive manner, and that the unfortunate past will be settled, and that we'll seek normalization of the ties. We'll continue to maintain close coordination with the United States and others, and we'd like to make an appropriate response by gathering information. Thank you very much. One other matter. I would now like to ask about the situation pertaining to the Middle East. The Revolutionary Guard in Iran seems to have sent a satellite, and that U.S. is very frustrated with the situation. So how does Japan see this situation? And also, the other day, I understand you had a meeting with the Foreign Minister of Jordan. So with the impact of the novel coronavirus, there is stalemate in the diplomatic activities, and there's a lot of impact. So the current situation, what impact has that had on the situation observed in the Middle East? I would appreciate your views. Well, with regard to Middle East, in particular with regard to the situation pertaining to Iran, as of on January 3rd, ever since the homicide incident on January 3rd, there were concerns that the level of tensions could increase. So as far as Japan is concerned, we have called upon various countries to avoid any escalation of the situation. We have encouraged that. As far as the overall situation is concerned, well, with regard to individual, although there are some specific cases per se, I do not believe that we see an escalation in the overall situation. We are not at that situation. That is our recognition. So with regard to Middle East, there are several various major issues. For example, in countries such as Syria, there are some tensions among various tensions, and also between Israel and Palestine, what to do about the Middle East peace situation. Yesterday, we had a telephone talk with the Foreign Minister of Jordan. Yes, we did have some discussions. As far as Japan is concerned, inclusive of Iran, in various neighboring countries, we see a spread of the novel coronavirus. So Japan has determined its own assistance, and we're implementing such support. So that type of discussion was held. Also, as you're aware, Japan is an ally of the United States. And also, with regard to the various countries in the Middle East, inclusive of Iraq, we have enjoyed very long-standing ties of friendship. So Japan is in a very unique position, and we'd like to leverage that. And we hope that we'll be able to solve this situation in a peaceful manner through dialogue. We'd like to continue to carry out our own diplomatic efforts. So that was that is what I mentioned. As far as the Jordanian side is concerned, with regard to the assistance rendered by Japan so far, they highly appreciated that. And with regard to Jordan and the Middle East, with regard that is in relation to the support rendered to Jordan and Middle East so far, and also the role of Japan is very significant. And they expect that Japan will play a significant role going forward. So that was what they said. And that is the role which Japan would like to play. That was my response to those comments made by the minister.
Next question, please. Any other questions? If not, this concludes the press conference today. Thank you.